come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast, Drop the Expiring Act with your host, Belly of QueenBAEGoals.com. Reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. Alright, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Hey, queens. Welcome back to another, wait a minute, that was just the intro. So welcome to episode 1 of the Drop the Aspiring Act podcast. Hey. Alright, so this episode is the very first episode of the season, and we are going to get into exactly how do you drop the aspiring act, right? Because that's the name of the podcast, that's the name of the show. So how do you actually drop the aspiring act? But before I get into that, I just want to say, welcome. Thank you for being here. 1 and 2, make sure you listen until the end, because we're going to get into the first series of the podcast, which is the Act Like, Think Like series. I'll go into more details at the end of the podcast. So make sure you listen all the way through to the end. So if you have not listened to the introduction episode, I don't know why, but I'll tell you who I am again. I'm Belly. I'm going to let you guys call me Belly because my name is Lavelle, if you haven't heard in the original episode. But, you know, a lot of people, you tell me name and it's like, what's your name again? It's like, somehow Lavelle is so hard to remember, I don't know. And then there's the other factor of, you know, there are a lot more guys, I guess, named Lavelle than girls. So people are surprised when they hear my name is Lavelle. So I'm like, you know what, forget it. Just call me Belly and we're just going to go with that. But I'm Belly, QueenBAEGoals.com, which is my blog, my website. Make sure you guys go and check it out because I actually have like other content over there on my website. I'm just starting this podcast as a side. I don't know what's the word for that, I guess. This podcast is complimentary, I guess, to my website, QueenBAEGoals.com. So if you're looking for links, anyways, so how to drop the aspiring act. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, right? So I know a lot of times you see on people's, especially social media, or their Instagram pages or their Facebook pages or their business pages, a lot of times they have, you know, they're an aspiring author, or they're an aspiring model, or they're an aspiring entrepreneur, or they're an aspiring whatever, fill in the blank, right? Everybody's aspiring to be something. But at some point, you have to decide for yourself whether or not you're going to just continue to be an aspiring fill in the blank, or you're going to stop aspiring, quit aspiring, and just be the damn thing, right? So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to drop the aspiring act and just start to be the thing. So first things first, right? When you say, or especially when you put out there that you're an aspiring entrepreneur, let's just go with entrepreneur. You're an aspiring entrepreneur. That's what people hear every time you talk to them. Well, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur and I want to get into blah, 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 blah business. And this is what I want to do for a living. Listen to what you're saying to yourself and listen to what you're telling others, right? Well, you're telling them basically, this is something that you want to do, but you haven't really started doing it yet. And it's going to come sometime in the future. Maybe, maybe not. Pay attention, 1, to the language that you are using. Because even the word aspiring, right, is telling people, you know what, she's not there yet. Maybe she'll get there one day. I just need you to first of all, drop the word aspiring from your vocabulary when you're telling people that you're XYZ, and just start being the thing, whatever it is. Especially if you're like an author or an entrepreneur, when all you have to do is take 3 to 4 steps and you are that thing that you're saying that you're aspiring to be. Right? And I'm not saying that tomorrow you're going to say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and you're going to jump up and you're going to have like this successful business. That's not what I'm saying, right? And if you're an aspiring VP, I'm not saying go to work tomorrow and jump in your boss's office and say, look, I'm the VP in here. Y'all better watch me. No, because I'm not trying to get you fired. No, we're not going to do that, right? So don't tell them your VM, your virtual mentor, said, I should drop the aspiring act and I should just be a VP. No, that's not how it works. There are steps to the process. But first thing we are going to do is we're going to drop the word aspiring, right? Because we're not going to keep going after the thing. We're just going to start being the thing and acting like the thing. Okay? So the next step that we're going to do is stop it with the research. Stop with the research. I need you to get out of research mode. Once you start paying attention to the language that you're using and you've stopped that language, the next thing I need you to do is stop research mode. Because some of you spend so much time in research mode that you are becoming the person who you're, researching, and you're not taking into account that, you have to bring your own personality, your own flavor, your own take. And then some people's steps, they might not be steps that you really want to follow, right? But if you don't get out of that research mode and start taking action, you're not going to know that. So number 2 is I want you to stop with the research. Get out of research mode, because you can research forever, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs. There are like 1,000,001 entrepreneurs, and everybody has a step, everybody has an opinion, everybody has a process, everybody has this is the way that they get things done. And until you start actually trying to do any of the work, you're not going to know what steps it is that you actually like to take, the steps that you want to take, right? In your own business, in your own adventure, in your own thing that you're going after. You're not going to know what works for you until you stop researching and you start to take action. So that's 2 things that we've covered, right? Pay attention to the language that we're using, and 2, to get out of research mode. Because if we stay in research mode, we're never going to get to that place that we want to be. All right, so 3rd, do the work, right? Start taking action. Start getting your ducks in a row. Start saying, okay, I said I'm going to be an author. I'm going to sit my butt down and I'm going to write, right? I'm going to stop with the, how do I self-publish a book on KDP, right? On Amazon, on what's the other thing? Ingram Spark, or how am I going to find a publisher, right? Or how am I going to find an agent? Just cut it out and just write a book. Because if you don't write the book, you have nothing. You're not an author. You're not going to be an author. You're not going to have anything to even present to these people who you're researching that, okay, these are the people, this is the route that I'm going to take, and this is how I'm going to get there. You have nothing to present. So drop the aspiring act and start writing your book, writing your ebook, writing your novel, whatever it is, right? Just start doing that. If you're an entrepreneur, just start taking action. Understand, okay, what is it that you want to produce in your business, whether it's services or products, and you start making a choice. Okay, I'm going to start selling XYZ, and this is what's going to be in my spot, right? Now, if you're going to try to go the brick and mortar way, you're going to say, okay, I already found my spot. This is what I need to do to get my loan, or whatever it is that you need to do to get this spot. And you already know what all the action and all the research that you've done, or this is the action that you need to take. So you just need to go down that path. Or if you're going to have an online company, okay, I need to set up my Squarespace site and just start selling my stuff out there, right? So start taking action, because until you start taking action, you're going to forever be in that aspiring spot. And that's a spot that I want you to come out of. So that's 3 things that we talked about. Pay attention to the language that you're using, right? Stop it with the research and start to take action. And then I'm going to give you just one more thing. Know what you don't know. So there are a lot of things and a lot of different ways to get things done in business, right? But there's a lot that you probably still don't know. But here's what the problem is. You're never going to know what you don't know until you start doing the things that you do know. Right? Listen to that. You're not going to know what you don't know until you start doing the things that you do know. And a good entrepreneur, a good author, a good leader, somebody who is open to learning, open to growing, they always know what it is that they don't know. So that's what I want you to figure out when you start to take that action. Pay attention to those things that you don't know. And I'm not saying to just go back and jump right back into research mode. What I'm saying is, pay attention to what you don't know and write those things down. That way when you start to go back into research mode, because you've hit a point where you've done everything that you could do, then you know specifically, okay, let's say building a website, right? So my website is being redone today as I speak. Well, I don't know when you're going to hear this message. It might be already redone. But let's say you're building a website, right? And you've created your pages, but you need to create like a funnel on the website. And I'm like, but you have no clue how to do a funnel, right? But you still have your pages to create. You still have you have to go do your brand photo shoot so you can get your pictures up on your website. These are all other things that you need to do, and you know that you do not know how to create a funnel. So here's what you do. You do all the other steps that you know you can get done, and you just write it down. Learn how to complete the funnel process or create a funnel page or whatever you want to call it, so that when you do go into your research modes, you know specifically that you are going to learn how to create a funnel, right? You're not going to go learn how to create an email list. You're not going to go learn how to create a fantastic homepage. You're not going to go learn how to have like an awesome photo shoot, because you already have researched all that stuff, right? When you go back into research mode, the only thing that you need to do after you've done everything else that you know how to do is learn how to create a funnel. And then once you've learned it, or if you've listened to one or two people that have shown you how to do it, you get back into action. You don't continue to research the crap out of it. You go back into action and you start trying to create your funnel page, or your funnel, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You're going to come back out of that research mode and you're going to start to take action again. So, I know I've said a lot, but I'm going to go over it all so you can remember how do you drop the aspiring act, right? One is pay attention to the language that you're using, especially when we're telling people, oh, we're aspiring to be XYZ, or you're telling yourself, you know what, it's going to happen sometime in the future, or you're telling yourself, you know what, a couple years from now, 1 or 2 years from now, 3 or 4 years from now, I'm going to be XYZ. No. Why are we waiting 1 or 2 years from now, right? You don't have to actually wait that long. You can start now so that you can do the thing. So pay attention, 1, to the language that you're using, right? 2, stop with the research and get out of research mode. Because the longer you stay in research mode, the longer you turn into everything else that you're listening to but yourself, right? And number 3 is going to help you with that, because you're going to start to take action. And once you start to take action, you're going to come into your own process, right? You may even find that you don't like some of the things that you researched, and you don't like the way that they did things, so you're going to do it your own way. But you would have never known that if you had stayed stuck in research mode. You would have just been going along with, oh my God, she's brilliant, I'm going to do all the things that she said. And then when you start doing it, you're like, I don't even like that. I don't want to do it that way. No. But you're not going to know that until you start to take action, right? And the last thing I'm going to tell you is know what you don't know. So pay attention as you're going through the process, as you start taking the action. Pay attention to what those things are that you don't know, so that when you do go back into your research mode, you have a focus and you know exactly what it is that you are going back to research. And then once you find it, you look at it, maybe 1 or 2 people, 1 or 2 topics, 1 or 2 articles, and then you go back into your action mode, right? You go back into your action and you start doing that thing that you didn't know. Now, the other side of that is, if it's something that you don't know and you really don't want to know, then maybe you hire it out to somebody else, right? You find somebody who's in your circle. They might be able to do this thing that you don't know how to do, or you hire it out to somebody else, right? If you can afford to hire somebody, you can. Then you do that, okay? But that's what I want you to do, is drop the aspiring act, because we should start being the things that we said we want to be. We only have one life to live, and it's time now that you start doing or being that thing, that entrepreneur, the author, the writer. Write your book, open your store, sell your products, sell your services, right? Go be the CEO. Go knock down and come be the VP. Like, knock that VP out of the, wait, let me stop. I'm not saying go physically hurt anybody. It's a metaphor. Metaphorically speaking, knock that VP out of the office, right? And show them your skills. So yeah, definitely you probably want to act, if you're trying to be like a VP or something like that, definitely listen to the Act Like an Asset, Think Like an Entrepreneur episode. That episode is definitely going to be for you. Right. So I'm going to get into now the first series of this How to Drop the Aspiring Act Season 1. So Now, I think it's about 10 episodes that are coming up that are talking about, I'll give you some titles. One of them is like Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Boss, which I think is the next episode. And then Act Like a Writer, Think Like Your Reader, right? And then I'm going to start to go into people, and one of them is like Act Like Michael Jordan, Think Like LeBron James. And I want to bring up that one especially because a lot of people might hear me say, act like Michael Jordan, think like LeBron James. And they are getting twisted all now, especially based on the generation that you're at, right? Because especially in my generation, a lot of us think MJ is the greatest of all time, right? Because that's the basketball player that we grew up with and know. And LeBron James is probably for a much younger generation, younger than my age group, right? And they think that he's the greatest player of all times. But here's the thing. When I say act like, think like, and it's two different attributes or two different people, I'm not saying that one is better than the next. So you have to actually listen to the podcast. Don't just look at the name and be like, MJ is not better than LeBron James. I'm not listening to that podcast because I think LeBron James is the beast or the GOAT, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there are skills that you need to take from Michael Jordan. I'm about to say Jackson. Why? I don't know. But Michael Jordan. And there are things that you can take from LeBron James. And you can put these skills together and it will help your mindset. And it'll help you take action in certain ways. So when you see the titles, especially when there's two different people's names, I am not saying one is better than the next. I'm just saying take a listen to the podcast because we're going to go into how you can be better by acting like certain things that MJ did in his career, and then how you can think better by certain things that LJ did in his career. So I'm not saying that one is better than the next. Okay? So coming up is the Act Like, Think Like series. We're going to get into a lot of it. Some of it is going to be for my career females. Some of it is going to be for my creatives and my artists and my entrepreneurs. Like there is something that everybody can take away from each one of the podcasts. So don't just look at the podcast title and be like, you know what? That one's really not for me. So I'm not going to listen to that one because I'm not. For example, one of them is like Act Like a Writer, Think Like Your Reader. Like I'm not a writer. I don't need to listen to that one. Well, if you're a content creator, the stuff that we get into that one, if you're any type of content creator, whether it's videos, writing, whether you're painting, the concept of the entire episode is more like, think about your audience, right? The people who are buying your stuff, buying your work, purchasing your books, purchasing your art, looking at your videos, whatever that thing is. The concepts that I'm talking about are still going to apply to you. So when you see the titles of some of the episodes, I just wanted to share with you guys that don't just see the title and be like, I'm not whatever that title is, so I'm not going to watch the episode. I want you guys to watch the episodes. I want you guys to listen. I want you guys to, get in the mindset of I'm going to learn something and there's going to be a takeaway from this lesson or this podcast that I'm about to listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and go all in and listen. Okay? Because I just wanted to make sure I talk about what the Act Like, Think Like series is as you see these podcast episodes dropping and you're like, oh, I'm not that, so I don't want to listen to that one. It's not about that. It's just the title. Make sure you listen and get the content, get the message, get the things that I'm talking about in the podcast. And if you have an idea for a podcast, go ahead and drop me a line and listen. I think I'm going to create a separate email just for this. But for right now, if you want to email about the new episode titles or topics that you think will be interested, go ahead and drop me an email at lavelle.peters@queenbaegoals.com. That's lavelle.peters@queenbaegoals.com. That is very long. So I'm going to say it again, lavelle.peters@queenbaegoals.com. And I'm going to try to set up a special email just for this podcast so that you guys can go there so it doesn't mix with my other things that I have going on from my blog, Queen BAE Goals. All right, you guys. So next episode is Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Boss. And we are going to get into so much stuff about why I think, when people are saying, act like a woman, think like a man. I love Jay Hudson. I love Steve Harvey. I love the book. I love the song, right? But I think a lot of people, it's based more on relationships, right? I think a lot of people take that from when it comes to business. They say, okay, you know what, you still should act like a woman, think like a man. And I think that is wrong. Like, the advice for that is so wrong, especially when it comes to business anyway, right? That is not it. So we are going to get into that in the next episode. So make sure you come back and check out the next episode on the podcast. Act like a woman, think like a boss. And I hope you're listening. And like I said, let me know where you guys are downloading these episodes from, and I'll make sure to have the new episodes popping up there wherever you're at, wherever you're downloading it from. And I will see you, girl. You're not seeing me, right? But you will hear me in the next download, in the next episode, in the next podcast. All right, you guys, I'm out. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information of this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.